Will, what's cashless bail?
My understanding of cashless bail is the idea that somehow either basically a certain category of criminal defendants who've been indicted should be remanded. I will give them that. They're not saying everybody, you get accused of murder, you should be able to walk free in the street. But then for those who are not, the idea that is that it's unfair that anyone not be able to afford their bail, or that there be this inequity between those who can afford to put up bail and those who can't. So the conclusion goes, everyone should be essentially bailed out without cash, right? That they shouldn't have to put up any money. Now, we talked earlier about unsolving problems. Cash bail has been around for well before the American founding. It's one of those problems that was solved hundreds of years ago by courts who had to figure out how to make sure that defendants would show up to their court date without holding them in prison the entire time. And without significant cash bail, without the ability of the criminal defendant to put up something and say, I will forfeit this if I don't show up, courts couldn't be confident that people would show up and actually face justice. And courts need to be able to do that, because otherwise, the people can just run off and evade the criminal justice system even when they do horrible things. It's one of these bizarre, silly ideas. I think it's very, very strange, and it's incredibly arrogant, and it's arrogant and ahistorical. It's people who think that the entire way that Western society has run for hundreds of years, and an evolved solution to a very basic problem facing justice systems, is just totally immoral and wrong, and we just scrap it all and try something brand new that's never been tested before. It's dumb.
It is dumb. I have a little video here, one I'm sure you've seen. Here's, for everyone else, here's George Floyd's nephew talking about the jurors in the Rittenhouse case.
I ain't even gonna name the people that I know that's up in the Kenosha trial. But there's cameras in there. Yep. It's definitely cameras up in there, and there's definitely people taking pictures of the juries and everything like that. We know what's going on. So we need the same results, man. We need the same results. Justice for Dante Wright, justice for Austin.
Will, this thing is not going to go away, apparently. This has become a consistent thing now, where the left, the communist street agitators, get deeply involved and start intimidating jurors. And it's one thing for you or I to get threats. That's pretty much, that comes with the business. Innocent people serving on a jury cannot possibly be expected to stand up to that kind of intimidation, and shouldn't be expected to.
No, and it's a crime, right? Like, I think it says something that guy wasn't immediately essentially subpoenaed. I mean, maybe they don't know exactly what he's doing, but he was immediately brought in for a police interview to explain exactly what he meant by people were taking pictures of jurors. Juror intimidation undermines the basic commitment we have to due process under law and the fairness of trials by jury, right? Especially to get a conviction, it undermines the protection facing criminal defendants, which is something, I think is very important, even as someone who, is generally like, law and order, we need to punish criminals. I also very, very strongly believe in the importance of due process in the criminal justice system. And so if criminal defendants are being railroaded by jurors who are terrified for their lives, that's not due process, that's not fairness, and we shouldn't stand for it. That's not America. That's not what we're working here to protect, and that we're fighting to preserve. So it's appalling, and then the question is, well, what do we do about it? Well, why isn't there a federal civil rights investigation of this right now? Like, when Republicans take power, there needs to, they should reinvestigate all this stuff. This guy, this nephew should be, investigated, subpoenaed, and essentially whatever there is, any sort of juror intimidation, any even, scheme to intimidate jurors, sounds like a federal criminal conspiracy to me, and something that could be punished by jail time.
Will Chamberlain, everyone. Thank you, Will. Appreciate it, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.